Sitting here in front of you are three rather cheap cameras. Basically, I got kind of into a photography kick for a little while, and I bought these three cameras. This one I got first, and then later I got these two, and so I kind of used them for each one for roughly a year or so, trying to get random pictures, just on my walks to and from work, around the house, that kind of stuff. I didn't really go out sightseeing or anything crazy, and because of that, I wanted to try out these cheap cameras because maybe you would want these, if you don't have a smartphone with a good camera, or if maybe you have, I don't know. Part of me is like maybe you want an older person to get it. Really, it's more for kids because at this point, as time goes on, more and more older people are going to know how to use a freaking camera, just on a phone. They don't need one of these to fix them, but this is upside down too. Great start. But this isn't so much even really about the cameras themselves, since they're all fairly easy to use. I mean, like this one's got this little thing at the top that's supposed to be like a selfie camera, whereas these two selfies, I mean, good luck. They've all got some kind of flash and stuff. They're all pretty similar in how they look and how they function, and similar layouts and buttons and things. There's nothing too crazy between the three that's a lot different, but each one does have a bit of its own thing. This is the Aberg Best 218, ABcam 218, as you can see on there, sort of, in this horrible lighting I picked. We got just this iShare digital camera, and then we've got, this is like a Shenzen Sonida, what the hell does the bottom say? It's like I can't read this shit. I'll lean in. DC 403, which basically this one boasts 2K and it's flash. If I can turn this on here, if it still has any life in it, its flash actually works a bit differently because these two, the flash works well like a flash. It flashes when you take the picture, but for this one, if you turn on the flash, if I can figure out how. So here, here's this, and then you hit the upper button. Oh, and now it's on. It's like a flashlight, which is kind of cool because it can double as that, and that's that works and all, but strange, different. And as far as the physical stuff on here, all I'm really going to mention quick is that these buttons are a little fiddly, but this thing has a nice metal body. I like the color. This one is very flashy. Although taking pictures, you have to be very careful, because if you let go, well, I guess I should talk about these while we're doing that. But physically, that's that. It has the selfie thing. This one is very cheap and plasticky. Other than this faceplate's okay, and all the buttons and things are plasticky. But this one, well, we'll get to the secrets for each one as we talk about them too, I guess. You know what? I didn't script this video. Can you tell? And this one, I guess at least these two have these mounts on the bottom, so you can screw in a tripod or something on the bottom of them. This one has pretty good feel. It can stand up on its own. It's a little more solidly built, even if it is plasticky. Yeah, this one doesn't have anything on the bottom, but I guess you have the lanyard area to put a lanyard through here. So there's that. But so does this little thing right here. And I think this has it on the corner area here. So they all could do that. So that was really all I didn't really want to mention physically. So let's kind of get into each camera and talk about them. So the Aberg Best ABcam here. Looking at some of these photos, what we've got here is you can get some decent photos out of this thing. I'm obviously showing the best of the best photos here. I was kind of surprised at how good these pictures can be from such a kind of I mean, this was roughly $40 camera or something, so it's not like it was really expensive. You can actually get up with some pretty nice shots. You can't zoom in on them, because if you do, they will look awful, but the shots themselves look decent enough when you pull them up. Main issues with this camera, I think, for taking pictures, though, is that, well, one thing is that the display is not very accurate to what you get, so things might look kind of crunchy and crappy on the preview on the back, but when you actually get it on your computer and look at it there, they look alright. Again, not amazing quality, and not as good as a smartphone for the most part either, but surprisingly good for such a cheap thing. So digital cameras have come a decent way, I think, because I've had worse pictures out of much more expensive digital cameras a long time ago. Um, the other thing about this, though, I guess making pictures difficult is that you have to be very, very still. If you move at all, during it, it'll like be kind of blurry, and that normally wouldn't be a huge issue, but because of the way this works, is that the button takes a kind of a lot of force to hit. So like when you're trying to take pictures, you have to be very like brace yourself a lot when you're taking it, so that the snap of pushing the button doesn't like jostle the camera, and you also have to kind of hold it still when you do that, because it also doesn't take the image instantly. It takes like 2 or 3 seconds before it actually like takes the picture. So there definitely were a lot of shots where I went to take a picture quick, I hit the button, and then I moved, and I just got a picture of like a blurry moving away or in my pocket or something again, because I didn't wait for it to actually finish its picture. So you have to have some patience for it, and so it's one of those where it's very difficult to use in that sense. But it does have its neat little feature of its bonus feature is that it has a macro setting. You can switch it to that and then take pictures of things up close. So basically, you have the ability to take pictures of things, only so close before it's blurry, and then infinitely farther away from that. Or the macro mode, which makes things blurry if it's too close, but also blurry if it's too far away. But when you get the shot just right, those do look pretty good, even for this low-end camera. So I was pretty impressed with how cool some of those shots came out. But yeah, it's just it can be difficult to use. The flash is basically useless. Trying to take selfies is basically useless. That little camera thing is like whatever, that piece of metal on the reflective thing on the front is not going to help you. But you kind of get, like I say, you're seeing this on the screen. Hopefully you can see a decent selection. I got some pretty cool pictures out of this thing. Definitely happy with it. And obviously, when the world cooperates with giving me cool stuff to take pictures of, that's always a nice bonus on top of it. All right, so the iShare camera is a little bit cheaper here. This was like $30. It also feels cheaper to hold. It's not the greatest camera by any stretch, but the photos are pretty comparable to the Aberg Best, I think. You also have much better preview on the back panel when you're trying to see what you're taking a picture of, so you have a better idea of what it's going to look like in the finished product. I guess I do like... So I like that, and I think that like... basically, like all these, like I said, they all have kind of the same menu, so it doesn't really matter. So I didn't bother showing you, like, here's what the menus look like, because they all look pretty much the same. But the main trick this one has up its sleeve here, because you see some of the pictures they're still fine, you still get fine pictures out of it for a cheap camera. This main trick it has up its sleeve are some panoramic shots. I think there's only a couple in here, I think, that turned out well enough to show. But they're okay. They're okay. Maybe I'll just do a direct comparison later and show you that as well. Because I have the comparison shots and you'll see some of that stuff. But the panoramic shots suck. Just because you can't hold them straight. Trying to track it, it's like if you move too slow, it doesn't really work very well. If you move too fast, it doesn't work very well. If you tilt too much, it doesn't work very well. And it's kind of particular. And it's hard to tell what the camera really wants you to do to get the right shot. So it's very difficult to get a decent one of those. So having that there is not really a perk. It's really more like a, hey, look at look at this thing we tried to do, and obviously don't have the ability to properly do. But you do have the option. If you really wanted to, beat yourself over the head with that, you could try to do that. That's probably the biggest challenge, is trying to do that. And last but not least, the Shenzen Sonida DC403 camera. Which I'll quick mention again, it has the best build of the three cameras. It has the nicest feel, so that's good. It's easy to use that way, and the flash thing is interesting. It's just that it's like a flashlight rather than an actual flash bulb like that. This one actually, I think, as far as taking pictures, might be basically the best of the bunch. The preview is very nice and clear. It's easy to see. It's easy to hit buttons and to use it. It takes pictures relatively quickly. I mean, it's not like it's lightning fast or like instantaneous, but it still is faster than like the big lag time on the Aberg Best. And as you can probably see, you get some decent pictures out of this thing as well. Again, none of these are going to give you amazing quality, especially once you start zooming in. They're not going to give you, good camera quality like a professional photographer or even a smartphone quality, but they are going to give you a decent quality for a much lower price. This one was about, I think, about $50 when I got it. So, came highly recommended, and I see it a lot. The main thing with this one is that it boasts a filter mode where you can just put in these filters at any time and have different like shots like that. So that's cool. For different kinds of like settings and stuff. That's cool. I don't really use it much because I want to just get regular pictures of stuff. But you can do that if you so desire, and so it's nice to have that built in rather than having to go out and like, oh, I gotta go get a piece of software to do that. You can just do it right on the camera itself. And also, all of these take video as well. They don't do it super well. They're mainly meant for photos, but they do have the option to do video. And I'll let you look at that right here. Alright, so this is me trying to record just some basic video on the Aberg Best AB218 cam, so you can kind of see and hear what it's like. This is pretty highlight situation. I don't know if you can really see much, back over there on the shelf, but this is how it performs like this, frame rates and stuff. And then we're gonna get more into like more average lighting around over here and seeing how it works with some motion. Then here is we're kind of looking at some low light, where it's not much light in here, and of course there's basically no light in here, so you can't see much at all. So this is it's just a test from the front up and behind the camera. Alright, here's the iShare camera doing video. I believe this is 1080p, 30 frames, whatever, like you'd expect. This is pretty, highlight situation. A video, audio test, see what it looks like, sounds like. Can you see stuff back there? Is anything look neat back there? I don't know what I can see. This is pretty highlight situation, and there's some motion. And, it's not as much light over in these areas. Then we're going to go out here more and get basically from sort of normal light into really low lit areas. This is what you can probably expect from the performance of it, and of course in here there's like no light at all, so you can't really see in there, but that's the same test I did for the others, so this is what we're doing. Okay, so this is supposedly the 2.7K that wasn't really advertised on the box for this camera, for the Shenzen Sonida, Amazon's choice camera. So this is a pretty highlight situation. I don't know if you can see much back here or anything, the details, stuff back on the shelf, but kind of for the look and the sound here, I'm going to pick this up. And this is probably more like normal light scenario, moving around a bit. And then we have in this more of a low light situation out here. See the copes, and there's basically no light in here, so you probably really can't see much of anything, but that's what this camera looks like. So this is the Shenzen Sonida camera, the Amazon's choice thing again, but this time I'm recording in the advertised 1080p, just in case the 2.7K is not that different or something, or I don't know if it's going to make any difference in anything, but some details back there again. Maybe if you can see stuff from behind me. Probably not the greatest angle I set this at. I didn't want to put it on a tripod because the other one didn't have one. So this is just what we're looking at for, a little more standard lighting stuff. And out here start to go into more like low lighted areas to see how it copes. And there's no light in here. So this is how this would look and sound and stuff. Just as a short test. Bonus clip in the bathroom with no light on. Acoustics are going to sound terrible in here, but turn on the flash button, and you could use the light in here for more low light areas. Look at that. That's something to look at anyways. Well, it would be if you could see it. Yeah, and as you can probably see, these are not great. The Aberg Best video is just pretty much unusable. None of these are really all that good. Weirdly, this thing, like they have, oh, you can do 2K video or whatever on the one thing for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I'm shooting this in 1080p 60, I guess. I don't think that you even necessarily notice. Maybe I'll try to do it in 4K. I don't know. But basically, it doesn't look like it's going to work super well. Don't use these for videos. Alright, so those are the 3 cameras, and I think that's all there really is to say about them, honestly. Not the most amazing video I put together. It's not like a big deep dive. I just wanted to look at some kind of, interesting other cameras I played with. I will say the Aberg Best camera over here is probably my favorite, just because while you don't necessarily get the best pictures, you can get some really good ones. The macro mode is fun to play with. It's kind of a challenge camera. If you want to see if you can get good pictures out of a camera, that's fun. I liked it for that aspect. I think the best pick in general is the Shenzen Sonida camera, the DC403. That's where you want to get one. Basically, if you want to have decent pictures and an easy time doing it, the best quality, grab that. And the iShare, maybe don't bother. It's fine if nothing else is around, but you can probably find other things that are pretty comparable and have other better features. And overall, this was a fun project to do, though, because it's, it was just cool. It was just fun to, to mess around with these cameras and try to get some interesting photography out of them. It's a fun kind of project, and I do like taking a bunch of pictures and then going on and, again, kind of that aspect of, especially the Aberg Best, taking pictures, then going and putting them on your computer and seeing what you really got. It's kind of like opening up a pack of trading cards or something. What did I get? Ooh, I have an idea of what's in there, but what did I actually get? And going around and picking your favorites. It's cool to see what can happen. It's cool to try and get, different pictures out of these things, and you get a different flavor with every camera. Well, no camera is, going to be exactly the same. Even on these cameras, you get a certain quality, whether it's an old digital camera, a cheap digital camera, a new fancy DSLR mirrorless thing. Maybe you've got a camcorder like this. Maybe you've got a smartphone. There's a lot of different kinds of cameras out there, and trying to get different kinds of photos and videos out of them is kind of a fun thing to see, just, where are its strengths, where are its weaknesses, what are the interesting qualities throughout. But that's, I think that's the video. So if you have any other things you want to see, I don't know, I don't know if I want to necessarily do too much more with cameras, because I went crazy a bit the past couple of years. But if there's any cameras you are super interested in, I can take a look at them. Maybe do some more project like this. If you really want, if there's a really interesting one, and you're I really wonder what that's like. Obviously the videos take a while to make, because they take forever to just slowly take pictures casually, normally. But hey, I don't know, it was fun, so hopefully you had fun too. Alright, bye.